Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. And for today's video is, I'm not really sure what I'm going to name it. We're not acting like we're perfect. We're not acting like we have the perfect walk journey. I don't know. So I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nor do I claim or pretend to be perfect. However, I have came so far, but I'm still not nowhere that I want to be within my relationship with God, because I feel that God deserves so much more than what I'm giving, and I'm giving my all. But I still feel like nothing is enough, because in reality, it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? And it never will be enough. But I still strive to do better and to do more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still not content. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that I'm striving to be perfect, but I just feel like I can do more within my relationship. But the goal is to get better with time anyway. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to not fall back to where you used to be. Fall back into sin, you know what I'm saying? Or to remain stagnant. The goal is to grow. The goal is to elevate, to be better. You know what I'm saying? But people think just because you're not flaunting your mistakes, your sins, and your struggles, that you think you're perfect. You know what I'm saying? Just because someone preaches, teaches, evangelizes, or minister the gospel does not mean that they are perfect, or it does not mean that they think that they are perfect. You know what I'm saying? We got to practice what we preach. Yeah, for sure. Of course. But when we're saying certain things or showing certain things about our journey, it's not to display a perfect life, but it's literally our life. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about our experiences. We're talking about what we've been through. You know what I'm saying? We're sharing our journey, which will not be the same as your journey and experiences. You know, there might be some relatable things, some similarities, but it's not going to always be the same. And I think that is hard for a lot of people to understand, that we don't all have the same journey and experiences. So when they see people talking about their experiences on their walk and it doesn't align with your experiences, then you feel like that person is not being authentic. You know what I'm saying? You feel like that person is not being truthful about their journey. You feel like that they're making it seem like they're perfect, but this is their journey. Theirs. You know what I'm saying? Not yours. And you cannot tell people what they did or didn't experience, or what they did or didn't go through, because you simply do not know. And just because something is hard for you does not mean it's hard for the next person. You know what I'm saying? There's people that has followed Christ for 30 years, baby. So it can't be that it's hard, but it can't be that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, people could really go on this walk and stay on this walk. And one of the things that I always hear people say is that, like, basically because they go through certain hardships and other people are not broadcasting or saying that they go through them hardships, they think that these people are not being truthful about their walk. But how do you know these people went through those type of hardships? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we assuming that people went through this and they're just not telling you? You know what I mean? And, you know, don't get me, as far as for me, I talk about certain struggles of mine. But I don't feel the need to talk about all the negative things that I deal with or go through on my walk. Don't get me wrong. I do, I have, and I will, because it's a part of my journey. But my goal is to uplift and encourage people on this journey, because it is needed. You know what I'm saying? I watch people to encourage and uplift me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to encourage and uplift other people. And if all you do is talk about the walk being hard, you know, all you do is talking about spiritual warfare, all you do is talking about everything negative that comes with the walk, and just overall complaining and being negative about the walk of God, I just feel like that's discouraging for people, especially new Christians. Although it's relatable, you know, it can be relatable for people, but people need to hear that they can, and that they will overcome these things, and that they can be happy while following Christ. And people just like to, so people get mad because they feel like a lot of people just only broadcast the good stuff about Christianity and they don't show the hardships. Then people, you know, the other side is people only broadcasting the hardships, but they're not showing the good stuff. Like, can we have a balance here? You know what I'm saying? Because we go through both. Don't get me wrong. We're going to go through hardships, and, you know, we're going to go through spiritual warfare, discouraging stuff, but we also are going to go through great things and experience great things within our walk with Christ. And everybody content is not for people. You know, some people want to do uplifting and encouraging content, and some people may want to touch on the hardships. And both is fine, but I do feel like there needs to be some type of balance, at least. But I do feel like encouraging is better than discouraging. You know what I'm saying? I would rather hear about people being uplifting and encouraging on my walk with Christ versus people keep talking about the hardships, because it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get to think like, can I do this? So, and to be honest, for me, I experience more good than bad on my walk, although it does get hard. I go through stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've told y'all a few things that I went through. You know what I'm saying? I go through spiritual warfare, but I always come out victorious. Why? Because I do not give up. And that's really what it's about. And that's what I want people to see and understand. It's not about being perfect. It's not about thinking you're perfect, acting like you're perfect, trying to be perfect, but it's about not giving up. And I say this because countless times, like I said, I've seen people get mad because others are not broadcasting their struggles on their walk. And I don't understand why people are so obsessed with other people's struggles on their walk to the point that they are angry when people don't showcase their struggles, to the point that they're accusing people of basically not being truthful about their walk. And I get that it's relieving to know that you're not alone on certain things. You know, when people broadcast their sins, their struggles, you know what I'm saying? It's relieving, like, dang, you know, I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? And it's relatable. But after you realize you're not alone, and after you realize that it's relatable, then what? You know what I'm saying? You need encouragement. You need answers on how to overcome this. You know, we can't just sit there and be like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm just going to keep sitting in this because I'm not alone. And, you know, you just keep watching the same content about the struggle, but you're not even focusing on how to overcome it. I feel like we focus too much on the struggle versus overcoming the struggle. You know, I don't hear people getting mad about that. People only mad about the fact that people are not broadcasting like, oh, they're trying to make it seem like their walk is perfect and it's not hard, but it is. But I just feel like we shouldn't even focus on that. I feel like we need to be focusing on how to overcome our struggles. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to overcome is better than just knowing that you're not alone. Okay? I want to tell some stories, you know. I've already said that about like YouTubers and stuff. But this one particular story like has stood out to me a few months ago. I'm pretty sure we all know Tia and Tamara. To my knowledge, they were raised Christian, right? Tamara is like, seems strong in her faith. You know, she broadcasts her faith. She seems strong. She seems happy. She has a beautiful family, beautiful life. And Tia, on the other hand, you know, she's been going through some things. What I noticed about her, she done got into that new age spirituality. She's going down a different path. You know, she done had a divorce. You know, it's some things going on in her life. And I remember seeing this comment. This is not verbatim, but I seen this comment, and this girl was like, I always liked it Tia better because Tamara act like life is just a fairy tale and life is so perfect, but girl, life is hard. So I relate to Tia more. I like Tia more, and it's okay to relate to one person more. But what stood out to me about the comment is that you're saying that a person is making things seem like their life is perfect. Mind you, like I said, Tamara is strong. You know, she's a Christian and she broadcasts that. And she appears to be happy. But because they're seeing Tia's struggles, you know, her divorce and new age spiritual, like they're seeing like the hardships. They're seeing the negative aspect of Tia's life, and they're seeing the positive aspect of Tamara's life. So people will choose to like that other person. Why? Because they're broadcasting the negative things that they're experiencing or going through on this walk, on this journey. And I just be feeling like that a lot of people want to know other people's struggles so they can feel better about themselves. You know what I'm saying? So they can feel like they're not behind or beneath anyone, which, you know, that obviously that's not true, but that's how people think. And people have this process like, oh, she act like she don't go through nothing. It's not that. Why do I have to broadcast what I'm going through? And it's just so crazy to me that people could take a liking to someone because of the simple fact that they are broadcasting what they're going through and their struggles. But if you don't do that, now they don't like you because you think you're perfect. I'm not at all saying don't be authentic about your journey. But what I have noticed is basically if you're able to keep yourself together on your walk and not make it look hard, people will assume that you think you're perfect. You know, or they'll assume that you're not being authentic because you know how to handle, maintain, and manage your walk. Overheating, y'all. I cannot wait to have a different scenery and setting because this is like... But anyway, as you should. You know, you should know how to handle, maintain, and manage your walk. People don't look like what they go through. People don't look like what they've been through. You know what I'm saying? People go through stuff every day, whether you're a Christian or not. And everybody does not broadcast their struggles. You can't even tell they went through them. And it doesn't mean that they're not authentic. It doesn't mean that they think that they're perfect. But it means that this is their life and they can share what they please. And to be honest, for me, I never cared about what people were struggling with. I never felt entitled to know what people were struggling with, you know, what sins, because I'm always too busy worried about my own walk. You know what I'm saying? My own struggles. I'm trying to work on and better myself. I'm trying to overcome my own things. Why am I worried about someone else? You know what I'm saying? And their struggles and their sins. I'm always trying to find ways to overcome. I'm not trying to sit and find ways like what they struggling with, and they're not broadcasting their struggle. They're trying to make it seem like they're what? That's stuff that does not matter. You know what I'm saying? I find ways to overcome your struggles. Focus on your struggles. And I just feel like people don't like the fact that if you carry your walk well, you know what I'm saying? Like, that just don't make sense to me. You know, we should be able to carry our walk well. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to walk around with a smile on our face, whether we're going through hardship, struggles, or not. And it's okay to share them. You know, it does help other people to share, but it's just like, I don't feel like we should be feeling entitled for people to share their struggles and getting mad if they don't, and basically accusing them of just things like trying to be perfect, thinking they're perfect, and like lying about their struggle. Like I said, it may be hard for you. It may not be hard for them. Like, I don't understand why people don't get that. Like, because like I said, I feel like my journey is more good than bad, because the thing about it is, I go through hardships, I go through spiritual warfare, but I'm not ever going back into the world. So this is always going to be better than the world was to me. Not that I don't go through stuff, not that I, and I've shared things, but it's just like, I don't really know what people want and expect. It's almost as people feel better about themselves if you walk around just moping like, oh, I'm a Christian, but I go through this, I go through that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's almost what people want. It's like, people don't want you to walk boldly and confident. They don't want you to carry the weight of being a Christian. Like, yeah, I go through stuff, but I'm still smiling, I'm still happy, I'm still following Christ. Like, I don't know, and then people want you to have the same experiences that they have. And if you don't, they think that something's not adding up. Like, no, that's your experiences and this is mine. And another thing is, some people wait until they overcome certain things so they can share how they overcame. You know what I'm saying? They can't share with you how they overcame something if they're still struggling with it. So there's also a timing for people to share their struggles and their sins. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, how can somebody preach to you about something that they themselves are still dealing with and struggling with? Then they'll be a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? How am I going to tell you to stop drinking if I'm still drinking? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get on here and be like, I'm still drinking, I don't know how to overcome this. No, I'm going to get on here and be like, I overcame this. This is how you overcome drinking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't really know what people want people to do when it comes to that. Like, I don't know. But again, this just falls into the lines of worrying about your own walk. Because like I said, I worry about my walk, my struggles, my sins, my journey, how I'm going to overcome. I don't worry about what other people is doing. And I feel like everybody else should do the same, because it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? People be too worried about other people's walk. And your walk ain't even in order. You know what I'm saying? Like, focus on you and yours, so you can be better, so you can overcome. Stop worrying about what these people are doing, even if they is sugarcoating it, and they even if they is lying, or whatever the case may be. That's between them and God. You focus on you. Like, I'm heavy on the focus on you. Like, child, y'all be too distracted. People be too distracted and worried about the wrong stuff when they start following Christ, and they just be microscoping everybody else's walk. And I just don't think that's a good thing to do. It's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? But if this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. Remember, I'm telling y'all, it's because I love y'all. God bless.